Just wondering what you are going to make for an afternoon tea or for a nice dessert after a good meal, or just in case you've got some visitors that have just barged in and you're wondering what you're going to serve them. My name is Chef Caroline, and today I'm going to show you a very easy recipe to make a very quick and easy Swiss roll. So what you're going to need is a very small range of ingredients, which is your 7 eggs. You're also going to need some white sugar, whether it's caster or it's white, granulated sugar, 120 grams. You're going to need 5 grams of baking powder and 150 grams of cake flour. So what we are going to do now for the process is very easy. We're going to mix the sugar and the eggs, and then we are going to whisk these until they reach a ribbon stage or they resemble a sabayon. So what we are going to do is to whisk the eggs with a balloon whisk until they reach what we call a ribbon stage, or they've doubled or tripled in volume, which means they've incorporated some air, which is going to make the cake very light and airy and also pliable and very flexible when we are going to roll and put our cream inside. So we are going to whisk, and then we are going to sift the flour together with the baking powder before adding to the eggs. So after mixing for a few minutes until the eggs are starting to froth up, I'm going to add the magic essence. So we are going to add our cookies and cream. It smells delicious and divine. It smells like ice cream actually. So I'm just going to add a few drops just to enhance the flavor and also to kill the smell of the eggs. So we shall continue whisking at high speed until the eggs have tripled in volume. So now that our eggs have reached the ribbon stage, as you can see, they are actually almost filling the bowl. So what I'm going to do here is to sift the flour with the baking powder just to incorporate some air, which will also help us in the rising of the cake when you put it into the oven. So we're going to sift some flour. So the key thing that you have to take note of when making a Swiss roll is not to switch off the mixer when you incorporate the flour. And also we have to take note that you reduce the speed to a minimum, and then you can incorporate the flour so that it doesn't flop, and also it maintains the air that we've already incorporated on our mixing. So I will show you how to incorporate the flour. We don't use our hands, we just use the whisk to incorporate the flour. So we incorporate a little or a spoonful at a time, whatever is comfortable with you. So I'm just slowly adding the flour to the eggs and the sugar, and it's smelling nice, by the way. The cookies and cream is very nice, smells divine actually. So I've incorporated all the flour. As soon as all the flour is incorporated, I switch off the mixer, and then now we are ready to take the mixture into the prepared tin, and then we bake at 160 degrees for 15 minutes, only 15 minutes, and the cake is ready. So now I'm going to transfer this mixture. As you can see, it's nice and light and airy. I'm going to transfer it to the tin that we have already greased and lined so that the cake doesn't stick to the bottom. So I'm going to use my hands for the actual final finish of the mixing so that I can feel the mixture. Just in case you've added too much flour or you've added very little, your hands will be able to let you know that there's something that has gone wrong. So I'm just going to put it into the tin like this. So now what I'm going to do is to level it off so that the cake comes out level. So you just use the palette knife, but you have to be quick. in whatever you do, otherwise we are already losing air into the atmosphere. So we're just going to level it off nicely. So we are done here. As you can see, it's nice and level. So we are now going to bake for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes until it's golden brown at 160 degrees Celsius. So we're now going to set the minutes to 15 minutes. Today I'm going to bring you a few ideas for your lunch boxes. A lot of people are struggling with what to put in their lunch boxes, even the lunch boxes of their kids when they're going to school, or something to snack after work, or something to just have with a glass of milk. So I'm Chef Caroline, and today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple recipe of the banana loaf. So what we are going to do today, you just need a few things. Even the bananas that you see on the street that are also that are going a bit black, they're very good for your banana loaf. So you will need 125 grams of butter. You're going to need another 125 grams of your old-fashioned brown sugar. You can even use white sugar if you don't have the old-fashioned sugar, but I like it for the color because it gives a deeper color for the banana loaf. We are going to need 3 eggs, 3 bananas, which are going to mash up and combine with 5 grams of bicarb, just to deepen them. The color is what they start to change the color the moment you mix them up. And then we need 5 grams of baking powder, which you are going to mix together with the cake flour, and then we are going to sift together. For the cake flour, we need 250 grams of cake flour. So for the method that we are going to use here, we are going to use the creaming method. So it's simply putting sugar into the butter, and then we use this mixer here. I'm going to use the hand mixer today because the mixture is not too much. So for me to put in a standalone mixer, it will be too much. So we're just going to whisk using these small balloon whisks here. So I'm going to whisk the two until it becomes pale and fluffy, because the whole reason for mixing is to make it incorporate as much air as possible, which is also going to help in the fluffiness of the cake when we bake it. So now that we have finished mixing, our mixture is now looking light and fluffy and pale at the same time. So we are now going to add the eggs. So when you're adding eggs to a creamed mixture, you add the eggs one at a time and mix thoroughly so that the mixture doesn't curdle. So our mixture is all mixed and not separated. So now for the magic flavor, I'm going to use the almond essence. Whenever you're doing the banana loaf, always use the almond essence because it brings out the banana flavor much more better than it is on its own. So this essence is from San Roma. Please buy it and make sure you've got it in your kitchen. It's a very nice essence, but also very strong. So you have to be very careful with the quantities that you're going to put. So I think this is enough. And then we mix again. This is enough. So what we have here now is the mashed bananas combined with the bicarb that we have put in here. This helps to deepen the color of the bananas because we want them to look a bit blackish or brownish, I can say. So I'm going to add this to the creamed mixture. And then we're going to mix again. So now I'm done using the mixer. So when we put the flour, we're going to use a spatula or a metal spoon to incorporate so that we don't overmix, as this is going to activate the gluten in the flour, and then the dough is going to stretch. Hence, you're not going to get a good cake at the end of the day. It becomes chewy, so you just want it to melt in your mouth while it goes down. So I'm going to sift the flour with the baking powder into the mixture all at once. No water needed. This mixture is wet enough to incorporate with the flour. So there we are done. So I'm going to use a spatula, a silicone one, to mix it up. So there we are, we're almost done. The mixing is very quick and easy. Even if you're very busy, you can give the kids to do the creaming for you, and then you can just finish off the folding in of the flour, and then you bake. So you mix until all the flour is incorporated, but not breaking up the bananas, because you also need to see the pieces of the banana in the mixture. So here we've got a tin, a loaf tin that has been greased. Make sure you grease generously so that the cake doesn't stick to the bottom. Imagine making a big, nice cake. You want to take it out, it's sticking to the bottom. You wouldn't want that. So we're going to put the mixture in here. Then you level it off as well, so that the cake comes out nice and even. Even if it rises, it still rises evenly. So there we are. The banana loaf is done. We are going to bake at 160 degrees for 50 minutes. Most cakes are baked at 160 so that they don't dry up, they don't burn, they've got an even crumb. So we're going to bake for 50 minutes, 160 degrees, it should be done. So voila, there our cake is out, and it's smelling nice, very nice, from the almond flavor, and the bananas are so pronounced. So what we are going to do now, before you serve any cake, you have to trim the edges so that it looks very neat before you can serve your guests. So what I'm going to do is just to slice up the banana and then the banana loaf. So as you can see the veins of the banana inside. So we're just going to slice it up for the family or the visitors to enjoy. So as a tip, just in case sometimes you are very busy, we are all working, we've got hectic schedules, you can bake this cake and freeze it, and then you thaw it naturally. You thaw it naturally from the freezer. You just take it out and you leave it like that, not using a microwave to defrost. Just make it thaw naturally, and then you can enjoy it. Still tastes fresh. So there we are, almost done. So we're just going to arrange the slices nicely. Then we're going to put them in a serving plate. So there we are, all done. So we're just going to dredge some confectioner's sugar, which is your icing sugar, just to give it a little bit of decoration. And then there we are, ready to serve. Okay, so now our Swiss roll is baked. It's looking nice and golden, and also it's still a bit warm. So what I'm going to do here is to sprinkle a bit of desiccated coconut. This is to avoid this skin, because it's very thin, from sticking to the tea cloth that we are going to use to roll it up. So you can either use caster sugar if you're a sugar fan, but I prefer the desiccated coconut. So you just sprinkle it generously, just to make sure it's not going to stick to the tea towel. So now we're going to use a tea towel to put it on top of the Swiss roll, and then we're going to flip it to the other side. And then we want to remove the grease proof that we had put at the bottom. So here in this bowl, I've got some whipped cream, which I've also flavored with cookies and cream as well, so that the flavor in the cake, the flavor in the icing, the frosting is the same, and it's very nice and pronounced. So I'm just going to put a generous amount before spreading it out. So I'm going to use a palette knife to spread it. So please don't wait for the Swiss roll to get very, very cold. Otherwise it's going to get broken the moment you start rolling it up. So make sure it's just slightly warm before you put the cream. Or just a generous amount, but not too much, otherwise it will come out the moment you start rolling up the cake. So here we are done. So what you need to do, I like rolling it towards me, but you can also do it the other way. It depends on what you're comfortable with. So I'm gonna start the rolling. So you make sure you tuck at the beginning, and make sure your hand is very firm the moment you start rolling it up, and then you're just pulling the cloth and just going and going, and then you're at the end now. And then we turn it the other way. Make sure it is tight. And then we leave the dishcloth on for a few minutes before we take it out, so that it doesn't unroll. So now we are going to unroll our Swiss roll and see what it looks like, and then we're going to portion it, and then it's ready to enjoy. So as you can see, it's nicely rolled up. So as you can see, our Swiss roll is looking very nice and smelling divine. I wish you could smell it too. So I'm just going to cut it up. First is to trim the ends every time. And then we start cutting up some nice generous sizes. So you can see. So please make sure you're using a bread knife so that your cuts are very nice and clean. So we have a plate here, a serving plate. We are going to put the slices. So I've cut up some nice slices here. So what I'm going to do is just to try and make them look nice and elegant. So I'm going to decorate them with some leftover cream that we had whipped, and then a bit of fresh fruit, just to make it nice and vibrant. Done. So I've started decorating the slices, just to make it attractive. You know what they say, that your eyes eat first before your mouth. So it must be attractive. So there you are. Nothing out of the ordinary. So for that memorable flavor, for your banana loaf, don't forget to buy your almond essence. That brings out the banana flavor more pronounced. Make sure you buy your Sandroma almond essence. This is our trusted Zimbabwean flavor. And for your Swiss roll, make sure you have stocked up your cookies and cream. This one is a favorite, especially for my kids. They love the cookies and cream. So make sure you've got cookies and cream all the time. Sandroma is your trusted brand, the Zimbabwean brand, proudly Zimbabwean. So thank you, viewers. That's all we had for you today on Home Baked. So we've got a banana loaf here, which I explained earlier. Very easy to make. Everyone can afford bananas, eggs, and sugar. Very easy. So there's no excuse for you to say, I could not do anything for my visitors, or to treat your kids. Every day must be Christmas. We must be able to eat cake anytime. So here's our Swiss roll. Very nice and elegant. Other variations, you can use this to make a trifle or to just serve as it is. So we hope you enjoyed the program. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Chef Caroline.